You are listening to the Postcast, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, and of course, our friends at the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to check out the Glebe Central Pub at 779 Bank Street. Great food, awesome drinks, lots of live events, including live music every Saturday night. And they've got not only the Send Shuttle, but it's the World Junior Shuttle, $20 round trip for every Team Canada game to and from the CTC. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and we are in uncharted territory. We've done 1,190 shows, 250 postcasts, and for the first time ever, we've got a 6-game win streak to cover. The Ottawa Senators in overtime. Jake Sanderson gets the winner. Sens beat the Canucks 5-4. Pilsy, how you feeling, buddy?
Look at us now, Ross. I mean, I am jacked up. I just finished my late night coffee. Overtime was over in 15 seconds. The Sens are on a 6-game win streak, 38 points on the season now. Jake Sanderson is alive again. Shane Pinto keeps the goals coming. Shorthanded goals are coming left, right, and center for this team. Levitan gets his first NHL win. What can't this team accomplish right now? I'm so excited. And shout out to all 453 people in the chat right now. This is awesome.
Oh, it's the best, man. And we've gone through the valleys to get to these peaks. We're in the Rocky Mountains, and the Ottawa Senators start a 9-game road trip with 3 consecutive wins. Love to see that, to get into. And now it's just bonus tomorrow. You got Linus Ullmark. You get the shout out Levitan. Hey, first career NHL win. No, we're not. Don't even start with me, Pilsy. Don't go there. But hey, the Senators were leading from early on. 1:45, Claude Giroux gets this game open. Thomas Chabot, who we'll get to plenty in this postcast with the assist. Ottawa goes up 2-0, and then they give it up in a matter of a minute and a half towards the end of the first period. They go up in the second, they give it up. They get a shorty, and then in the third period, they almost make it a 2-goal lead. Instead, Brock Besser gets his second of the game with just under 5 minutes left, and they were pushing for a regulation win from there until they took an untimely penalty. Nick Cousins draws blood, and then they give it back. It was just as back and forth, wild of a game as I think I've seen in some time. The old Sens, and how often have we said this too, Pilsy? The Sens 2-3 months ago, they let that game slip away in regulation. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Ross. Like, there wasn't a lot of shots in this game, but a lot of goals happening, and the Ottawa Senators didn't let the momentum slip away from them, especially on the road. That crowd got going when the Canucks were able to tie things up, but the Ottawa Senators were able to find a way to get a win here, and it's overtime, and it's Jake Sanderson that gets it done. This guy needed to get things going, and he gets 3 points tonight, including the game winner.
And it's funny because his analytics did not look good. Him and Travis Hamonic were hemmed into their zone quite often, but the eye test shows this was a spectacular performance from Jake Sanderson. Not only that, but he hammered Tyler Myers down in the corner in the third period too, showing a bit of physicality to his game. So we don't have to talk about how the expected goals percentage when he was on the ice was a team worth 6.7%. We'll talk about the 3 points and the overtime winner, a perfect night on the score sheet for Jake Sanderson. Love to see it. 8 points for the Nodak Sens tonight, Pilsy, as Shane Pinto also had 3 points in this one. That's 3 plus 3 is 6. Math guy here. And nothing for Tyler Clevin. I thought Jacob Bernard
Talker on the mind, Ross. 6-game win streak.
I thought JBD had a fantastic game in this one as well. We got plenty to get to, but how are you feeling in that third period when things were looking a little questionable?
No, I still thought the Sens were going to get it done, Ross. Like, this is a team that's confident right now. They know they can battle through adversity, and this is a Canucks team that's kind of on the opposite ends, right? Like, they haven't been able to battle through adversity. They got toxic issues going on in the dressing room, where the Sens are all vibes and they're able to get it done. And you got to bring it to overtime, but that's fine. And I'm so excited that the Ottawa Senators are on a 6-game win streak. Ross, I can't even believe this is real.
No, it's so real. Pinch me. It's real. Jaeger Pal Production says, guys, we're 6 points from the top of the division with game in hand, and we have a Vezina winner, Ullmark, in Edmonton on a back-to-back. Let's look how this game unfolded statistically. 5-4, the Senators win in overtime. The Vancouver Canucks outshoot the Senators 25-19. Sens power play goes 0 for 5. Vancouver goes 0 for 2. Senators snap back 57.7% of the faceoffs. They outblock Vancouver 16-12. Vancouver outhits Ottawa 28-13. The expected goals 60% for Vancouver when it was 5-on-5. We also know when the Sens are out west, Pilsy knows firsthand from Calgary, lots of Sens fans in attendance, and we've got a couple joining us now. Yvonne, Sens fan in Van.
Yes.
Great to see you guys rocking the Sens gear. How?
Yeah, we are. This is our friend Brian, who's actually a friend of my coworker. We have a big cohort of Sens fans at my office, actually. It's really awesome. And obviously the vibes are so high in Vancouver. There were so many fans there. We took so many photos. People just pulling us in, lots of knuckle punches. It was amazing.
Great.
We don't even know who scored. I don't even know who scored the final goal.
Who won? Sandy?
We know who won.
Jake's
won.
But that's the beauty. That's the beauty about being boots on the ground. It's all about feeling the vibe and the energy of the arena. And you said there were lots of Sens fans confirmed. The pop when they scored was high.
There were tons of fans. It was amazing. And you can just look around. Everyone was so excited. We have a funny story. We won't go into it, but we were actually in 2 sets of seats, and we've met lots of great Sens fans.
Tell us the story.
This is story time. This is what we're all about here.
We were just in the wrong seats at first, and then so we met some great Vancouver/Montreal. Wow, great.
Montreal.
Yeah, I know. And then we met some Seattle fans on the other side. But I gotta say, like, the moment that was so awesome for us is when we saw that pass during the power play when Sandy passed it up the ice. We just thought he was going to bounce it off the board. Then he got it over to Norris, and we think it was Norris who scored the shorty.
Yeah.
Amazing. It was just like such an amazing moment. Like, we'll never forget that. So.
Who was your Sens Central standout of the night?
Oh, I think we got to go with Sandy. He was amazing.
Oh, nice
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan?
Honestly, I think Stützle was fucking incredible.
He was awesome,
eh?
Like, wildly incredible. Like, even though it's quiet, but it's so good. The guy's so good.
That's awesome. Where'd you get that jacket, by the way? You're in the festive spirit.
What's about this?
I mean, where didn't I get this jacket?
That's incredible. What a look.
Holiday, represent Christmas. Let's go.
Yeah.
What?
It's a very
What
merry
a look.
vibe here. downtown Vancouver for Sens fans.
Well, we love it. Yvonne and Brian, we appreciate the heck out of you coming on here. Enjoy the night. Be loud on the way home. We want to make sure downtown Vancouver knows that it's Senators territory tonight. So thanks for jumping on, guys.
I think they got the hint. Thanks, guys.
We made
That's
them
so
know.
awesome.
Awesome.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah,
Let's go. There we go. Sens fans taking over in Vancouver. Go Sens, go, guys. Anthony, I appreciate you behind the camera. We love you guys and can't wait to see you guys in the future. There we go. Yvonne and Senators fans taking to the streets of Vancouver. And you could hear in the background at one of those moments a Vancouver fan saying, I need to get all the way home quick. The engine was riled up, but it's all good. We'll have those boots on the ground reports, and we'll keep doing those for road games here throughout the season for the Ottawa Senators. Pilsy, they said it. Jake Sanderson, heck of a night for him. He scores the overtime winner. Tim Stützle, second OT in a row. He gets the primary assist. Shane Pinto's third point of the night was the third point on that goal as well. Like, where do you want to take it from here? You want to talk about Levi Marilainen a bit? I mean, 3 goals against on the first 10 shots, but you look at how they went in, not a whole lot he could have done on them, and I thought he settled in real nice in the third period.
Ross, anytime Quinn Hughes touched the puck in the first half of this game, it seemed to find a way in the net. So we'll give Levi Marilainen a pass on those ones, and he ends up getting the win anyway, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I don't know. Like, not obviously a game where your goalie steals a win for you, but he was good enough to get the win. And for the Ottawa Senators, that's all you need. And he did have a couple really big saves. So for Levi, that's got to be a nice boost. And he gets his first NHL win. So shout out Levi Marilainen, hashtag goalie friendly show.
Oh, man, there was a couple saves and one that just missed the net, man. When it was a power play before it was evened up, like Teddy Bluger walked into a slap shot from about 40 feet out, and I could only imagine what Levy's heart rate was at that moment.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's heart rate was probably up and down in this game because, Ross, when the Ottawa Senators got off to a 2-0 start, I was sitting back in my chair just laughing like, oh my God, we're going to see this Vancouver Canucks team implode from the inside, and it's going to be at the hands of the Ottawa Senators because they basically imploded us and Sens fans earlier this year. Ross, it is insane. If we could go back and tell past Ross and Pilsy when we were absolutely having a meltdown on the postcast when we had to have our guy Kyle from Locked On Canucks tell us, guys, what are you freaking out for? You're going to be fine. And we're like, no, Kyle, you don't get it. You don't know how we feel. We feel so bad right now. I was about to press the panic button, but no, I didn't press it. And this team has found a way to turn it around. And now we find ourselves with 6 straight wins, including a win up against the very same Canucks that almost brought us to the brink of tears. So this feels pretty good right now, from Ventcast weeks ago to an absolute vibecast.
Miguel writes in, the Ottawa Senators are not a team. The Ottawa Senators are a machine. Go Sens, go. We feel that, like Miguel. That. And thank goodness Pilsy did not press the panic button. Otherwise, we would be having a different conversation.
See this? See this, everyone? I got the panic button. How can I do this most dramatic?
Right behind you.
Get out of here. We're not panicking in here. It's a vibecast. 6 straight wins. 6 of them.
Imagine if it went off when it hit the ground. There would have been a whole time. But it's
Ross,
gone.
It can't go. It wouldn't have gone off because you'll remember I shut it off on the postcast. So Ross, I'm thinking about taking the batteries out of that thing.
Oh my goodness. Throw it in the trash. Hey, if the Senators are ever top 3 in the division at any point in the standings, you're throwing that in the trash. You're going to do like a Colin Cowherd video like he does with the Cowboys jersey.
Ross, I'll get a hammer and I'll smash it.
Yes.
Well, wait. No. Because then aren't I technically smashing the panic button?
Oh, yeah.
So no, straight in the trash.
You need to very carefully take it apart.
Yes.
Take it apart. Get rid of it. Great comment there, Mikkel. Zach writes in, the Sens have won every game since he gave his buddy a Sens jersey. We got to make him wear it from now on. And again, look, it's not about us. It's about the team. But I will say the Senators are 10-2-1 now in 13 games since my daughter was born. So just saying, it is absolutely
really
wild. And hey, Leaf says 8 points is actually right because Besser had 2 points. He's a Nodak boy, but he's not a Nodak Sen. So we'll put a little asterisk on that one. Holy moly. Let's actually go through this because the first period was a tale of 2 games, it felt like, right? Like Giroux scores first right away. Before the announcers could even finish putting their Vancouver Canucks jerseys on, it was 1-0 Ottawa. And then from there, like it felt like they were going to lull the Canucks to sleep. Pinto scores on a 2-on-1. Beautiful feed from Michael Amadio, and we hope Amadio's okay. He took an elbow to the head from Vinny Desharnais in the third period behind the net. Not sure how that is considered a legal play, but the ref was also in a kind of a tough spot. So whatever on that one. You just hope that Amadio is okay, but he now has six assists in his last 10 games as well. Amadio is a key contributor. So we really hope that if he's in the lineup tomorrow, great, but you're also just hoping that he's able to be okay for the long term.
Yeah.
Cole Reinhardt's also on the trip as well. So he could be put into the lineup if Amadio can't go. Then, like, when it rains, it pours, right? When Vancouver scored once, they scored twice. And again, not faulting Levi Merrilainen. You probably wish that Norris would have had his man in front of the net. Clevin also was kind of floating a little bit there on the first goal. Second goal, just a point shot through a screen. Not much you can do on that one either.
No, and that's the thing. And that's like Quinn Hughes is just so good. Like he holds on to that puck. He waits for the traffic to be perfectly blocking Levy's view. And then he's able to sneak it past as well. So like I mentioned earlier, Ross, I'm giving Levy a pass on the first 3 goals because that was just Quinn Hughes showing why he's one of the best defensemen in the league.
Then in the second period, 4 minutes in, Shane Pinto's second. This one assisted to Batherson and Sanderson. What'd you see on that play?
On Shane Pinto's first goal?
Second goal. The first one was that 2-on-1 we mentioned where he just put it right in the middle of the net. And Langdon was throwing his stick all over the place tonight too.
Seriously, yeah. I'm with Adam Gaudette on that shot on the power play, Ross, where he's
kind of went off of Myers, though. The second Pinto goal is the real beauty, though, man. Beating that defender one-on-one.
Well, yeah, let's get to it. Batherson takes down Hughes. They finally figured out how to score, Ross. Just take him down.
Take him out of the play.
Exactly. And then puck goes the other way. Batherson feeds it up the middle. It deflects off Myers. And then Pinto, he's able to corral it. And nice little deke. And he beats Lankinen. Ross, I know we talked about it before, but it bears mentioning again. As soon as Shane Pinto was able to score a couple goals up against Carolina, we knew that he was going to get things going. He scored another goal up against the Seattle Kraken. And then he scores 2 tonight. I was hoping for the hat trick, Ross, but we won't get too greedy here because it's all good vibes from the Ottawa Senators, even without a hat trick.
Yeah, he thought he had a hat trick there when Giroux got his penalty in the third period. He put it into the empty net, and there was certainly a pop back. So you took the Allmark jersey out, by the way.
Well, full disclosure, I'm glad you noticed because I wanted to get a chance to explain this. It's up in my suitcase upstairs. I didn't want to go upstairs and get it.
Well, he's starting tomorrow. You'll
of course, yes. And I thought I want to give Brady a little love after scoring that overtime goal, and it wasn't a Levy start. So I figured this was an appropriate change.
So, and maybe you're foreshadowing 7 straight wins tomorrow?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, let's go with that, Ross.
Let's get wild. Let's keep getting wild here. Let's finish breaking down the goals because, that Pinto goal was fantastic. Jake DeBrusk then ties it at 3. Again, a deflection, or a rebound, rather. Just went off his skate. You got to take that out of the game. It's almost impossible. Stop. And it was for Levi Merrilainen tonight as they just went in. I'm glad they didn't challenge this one, Pilsy. They called a timeout to look at it a little more, but that was a good goal.
Yeah.
He was just standing there, but it was a good goal.
Yeah, that's one of those, Ross, where you don't like how the play went. So you're like, I'm going to challenge it just because I'm pissed off at how the play went. So I'm also glad they took the time out and decided, hey, we're not going to challenge this one.
Yeah, because you don't want to risk having a 2-minute penalty on top of that, even though the Sens PK now is buzzing. They have looked awesome back-to-back games with a shorthanded goal, including the 4th goal for Ottawa in this game, where Josh Norris just... beautiful play. Started at the face-off where it's kind of a scramble, and Hamonic makes a good pinch into the center dot and gets it back to Sanderson. He makes a great outlet pass, and next thing you know, Claude Giroux's feeding Josh Norris for his 13th goal of the year. I thought Josh Norris looked awful tonight, except for that. Like, put on earth to score goals, and he got his 13th of the year, man. Like, that's pretty incredible for what injuries he's had to overcome.
Yeah, but Ross, I want to highlight Jake Sanderson on this one. That stretch pass all the way across the ice and diagonal across the ice. And Ross, for him to get it on Giroux's tape and not put that offside was absolutely amazing. So, and then Giroux, it was like a boom, 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 like a Plinko play all the way across the ice. And Josh Norris is able to score on that one. But that doesn't happen without the perfect pass from Jake Sanderson.
You think he learned that from Linus Ullmark?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jake's probably like, hey, Linus, just so you know, next time we're in overtime and there's a chance for me to make a breakout pass for a 2-on-1, I'm able to do that.
So then Brock Besser gets his third goal of the game in the third period. You can just feel this one coming. But the play I want to touch on first is how about Thomas Chabot taking one right off the goal line. If they had scored with that much time left, I'm not sure Ottawa gets out of this game.
Ross, that was my TSN turning point of the game because you got to shout out Kiefer Sherwood. He plays that perfectly. Good patience, waits for Levy to go down and flips it over the pad. But Thomas Chabot is keeping his eye on the play. He's able to get a stick on that because that's going in otherwise. So shout out Thomas Chabot on that one.
Save of the year. Can't control life calling that one there. So absolutely love to see that from Chabot, who was fantastic all night. I thought him and Jensen had a great game. So tied at 4 going into overtime, and it didn't take long. Scramble face-off. Tim Stützle hits it back to Jake Sanderson. He gets it up, and on Tim Stützle's rush, he just kind of stops up, gives it to Sanderson. If we're doing Locked On Canucks postcast tonight, Lankinen's got to have that. That was a bad angle shot. All you had to do was go paddle down. Well, he didn't even like his stick tonight, so that's what I'll blame. Yeah. You know what? That's karma for not being able to hold on to your stick in the first period. You're able to not get it down between your legs when all you had to do was go paddle down, and that's an easy save, face off, and away you go from there. But instead, Ottawa wins it, and what do you know it, Pilsy? The Senators' first 6-game win streak since the rebuild started, and it's the 3 lottery picks on the ice for Ottawa. 3rd overall pick, Tim Stützle. 4th overall pick, Brady Tkachuk. And 5th overall pick, Jake Sanderson. So just a little bit of poetic justice for the Ottawa Senators on that one. They win 5-4. We got Send Central standouts to get to, of course. But let me tell you that the Postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Frankly, the Postcast wouldn't exist if it weren't for the Glebe Central Pub. We love them. They're in the heart of the Glebe. They're a local establishment, and that really just resonates with us. Not only do they have great vibes that are free, they've got live music every Saturday night. They also have the Senators/Hockey Canada shuttle taking you to and from the CTC for each Team Canada game in the World Junior. So I'm eyeing that New Year's Eve game. If it weren't for my newborn, I would be there on that shuttle for the Glebe Central Pub, going to see Canada, USA on New Year's Eve. Get on the GCP bus, $20. It will sell out, so get your tickets fast and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. You can also get your 10% off the GCP on Senators game days by just letting them know that you listen to Locked On Senators. The GCP, where the vibes are free, head to 779 Bank Street and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you.
This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. If you love sports, you're going to love Prize Picks, the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Whether it's hockey, football, or any of your favorite sports, Prize Picks makes it easy to get in on the action. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks. Plus, this holiday season, they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas and offering 2 free picks in December. And when your picks hit, Prize Picks makes it easy to cash out. You can get your money in as fast as 15 minutes. This week on Prize Picks, I'm looking at the hockey board, looking at Brady Tkachuk's more than 4 shots on goal and Tim Stützle more than 1 assist. It's so simple to make my picks and have fun with fellow Sens fans while potentially cashing out. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right, $50 instantly. Prize Picks, run your game.
Held that for 6 seconds. Senators win their 6th game in a row. I'm Ross Levitan. That is Brandon Piller here on the Vibecast. Of all Vibecast, we have never been here before, a 6-game win streak. I don't know what to do with my hands. So what I'll do is throw to you first, Pillsy, your number one Send Central standout in this 5-4 win over the Vancouver Canucks.
Well, I'm going to follow along with Sens fans in Van, and I'm glad they got to join Ross because they are great fans, and we love them being boots on the ground and getting to witness this win. I'm going to go with Jake Sanderson. He scores the game winner. He gets 2 assists in 23 minutes and 10 seconds, and that OT goal was one that he needed. He only has 2 goals this season, and that stretch pass that I referenced earlier was an absolute thing of beauty. So 3 points on the night for Jake Sanderson, a guy who we expect a lot more from this season, Ross, than what he's shown. But this is a big boost and a good sign that he's going to turn things around. So Jake Sanderson is my first Send Central standout, presented by the Glebe Central Pub.
I love that call. Jake Sanderson, you hope this is just a sign of things to come in the future, much like with my first Send Central standout. I was going to go with someone else, but we're snapping it back around. So I'll keep on that. A guy who struggled and then caught red hot. Shane Pinto, 2 goals and an assist in this game. The Nodak Sens connection there, and he was just amazing with that third line. You love to see a guy who's been able to get better. Wasn't awesome in the dot tonight, 5 for 13, went 1 for 6 against JT Miller, his most common enemy across the faceoff circle. So that's a tough matchup for anyone in the league. Miller's one of the better faceoff men there, but Shane Pinto was tremendous in this game. He was using his speed, using his puck protection, and the way he scored his second goal was a thing of beauty. First one, I mean, beautiful pass from Amadio. He had to put it in, but I mean, you put us in that spot, we'd probably hit the back of the net. He had a wide open cage. Second goal, neither of us are getting past that one-on-one battle. I'll tell you that for free. I don't think many players on the team were, but Shane Pinto adding the third assist just for fun in the overtime. Doesn't even get a plus there because he took the face off and then went off, and Brady Tkachuk went on the ice. But 3-point night for Shane Pinto. He'll be my first Send Central standout. Your thoughts?
I love it, Ross. Shane Pinto is a guy we need to get going for this team to be successful. That third line has been awesome recently, and I was hoping he'd get the Hattie here, but nothing wrong with getting 2 goals in a 5-4 overtime win.
Absolutely. Okay, back to me, because this is really my number one standout, Thomas Chabot. We talked about him saving the first, the final, what it would have been the game-tying goal at that point with way too much time left on the clock on the road. You needed him to come through there, but also he is as smooth as I've ever seen him play. It's amazing to watch. And he's been on this team for 7 years and never had a 6-game win streak. So he deserves it as much as anybody else. So I'm just so happy that Thomas Chabot is back to playing the way we saw him play or at times in his career. He had an assist +2 tonight, did have 2 giveaways, but also blocked a shot and had 1 shot of his own, played 23-48. And I just think overall, him and Jensen, I'm almost ready to change it on our thing, even though the Sens won't. Yep. Thomas Chabot and Nick Jensen's this team's top pair. Agreed. And they're playing like an elite top pair, and I love to see it. So we've been tough, giving tough love to Thomas Chabot, but this guy is an absolute stud. And if he keeps playing like this, he's earning every penny of his salary.
Yeah, Ross, you took that one away from me. I thought Thomas Chabot had a great game. So I'll go with Claude Giroux. A goal and an assist in this one. Sure, you don't love that interference penalty he takes late, but this is a guy that he's been a big part of the Ottawa Senators team and in their success turning things around. He's a veteran that they need, and he was happier than anyone else in the rink when Jake Sanderson scored that goal, because he did not want to see his penalty end up costing this team 2 points. And he gets that first goal, Ross. That was huge, in my opinion, because it allows you to play from ahead up against a Canucks team that's kind of in disarray. And he does a good job of just being net front presence. Like, we don't often see Giroux being the net front presence guy, but he gets a good tip and gets this game started and gets the Ottawa Senators on the board, a minute and 45 seconds in. So awesome job by Claude Giroux. So I'll give him my second Sens Central standout of the night.
And I like that call. We can't give a standout to a guy who had an .840 save percentage, but we'll give stick taps again to Levi Marilyn in first career National Hockey League win. Zach with a fantastic call here. An extra Sens Central standout to all the fans who have stayed with this team through thick and thin. Over 700 people with us at 1:33 a.m. in Ottawa. I cannot express my appreciation for each and every one of you enough. This team has been starving or this fan base has been starving for a team that can show up night in, night out. And frankly, I don't think the last 2 games they've had their best stuff, but they're finding ways to win the same way they were finding ways to lose earlier on in the year.
And that's the sign of a good team, Ross, because you're going to have ups and downs in the season. It's just about managing those downs and being like, we know we're better than this. We know we can find ways to win, and coming together as a team and having different ways of success. Like, Ross, we've talked about how good this team's power play is, and that's led them to a lot of wins. They're 0 for 15 in their last 5 games. Okay, so what do? They find ways to score shorthanded. They've scored 2 shorthanded goals in the last 2 games. So that's awesome for the Ottawa Senators.
It's fantastic. The fan base deserves it, and we appreciate each and every one of you for sticking with us here. Other things that you noticed tonight, Pillsy, I'll throw it to you. What'd you think of Jacob Bernard-Docker's game tonight? I thought he was fantastic defensively.
Yeah, and he didn't take any crap, Ross. We saw, I forget who it was at the end of a scrum when Marilainen covered it, and they were kind of getting in his face, and he gave him the old push back and said, I'm not taking that from you. And he does a good job kind of standing his ground. And him and Tyler Clevin, I'm so glad that they got put together, Ross, because that's a third pair where both of those guys are where they need to be. Jacob Bernard-Docker is not quite a top 4 defenseman, and Tyler Clevin, he needs stability on a third pair, and they've been together for weeks now, it seems, and they've really been able to find effective ways to stay in the lineup. And I like what I'm seeing from both those guys. The Nodak Sens D pair, shout out to those guys, and shout out to Travis Green for keeping them together.
Yeah, although I thought Clevin had not one of his best games tonight. He was in front on a couple of those goals, but it's all good. But that's why we do the eye test too, Pillsy, because we'll pull up the hockey stat cards a little later here, and I'll tell you JBD was dead last on the Senators tonight in that, but I thought he was phenomenal tonight, defending well and not taking any crap. Like you said, I wouldn't mind seeing a few shifts with him and Sanderson, honestly, even though things have been rolling the way they are right now. Okay, let's get to the hockey stat card. Let's get to a bit of a preview here, as it'll be our last show before the Senators take on the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. Note the start time. It is going to be 8 p.m. Eastern. So even though it is out in Edmonton, it's a Sunday about an hour earlier, so you won't have to stay up super, super late, but we will get to a bit of a preview for that game because the Oilers and Senators both played today. The Oilers also went to overtime. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Postcast. It's Locked On Senators.
Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. You guys know FanDuel is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and it's also North America's #1 sportsbook. You can check out all the bets on FanDuel, and new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Go to FanDuel.com and you can bet on the NFL. And when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out all the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more. So find it on the best sportsbook in North America. You can get your favorite bets at FanDuel.com.
Never waste a hunch and make every moment more over at FanDuel. I am feeling very good about FanDuel, though I did stay away from it tonight, Pillsy. I did stay away from it tonight. I just wanted to let the game happen. 0 bets for me, and I enjoyed it as thoroughly as I could. Senators win 5-4 in overtime. Let's quickly look through the box score. Some interesting notes. We already covered the points, but 3 for Shane Pinto, 2 for Claude Giroux, a goal and an assist for him, 3 for Jake Sanderson on the back end goal, and 2 assists. The shots leaders for the Ottawa Senators, 4 for Claude Giroux. Funny enough, 0 for the captain. 2 hits, but no shots on goal, no points. And wait, they gave Shane Pinto a plus. Maybe not for, they didn't give Brady Tkachuk, unless, no, he's probably minus during the game. Silly me. But Brady Tkachuk held completely off the score sheet tonight. Josh Norris scores a goal, and we got lots of assists. Nick Cousins, Michael Amadio, Drake Batherson, Tim Stützle, and Thomas Chabot. In goal, Levi Marilainen makes 21 saves on 25 shots, but was still the better goalie on the ice because Kevin Lankinen led in 5 goals on 22 shots. That's a 77% percentage. And Vancouver Reporter earlier today said The Vancouver Canucks are catching a break, getting Levi Marilainen
Ross.
Huge break. Huge break, Jeff Patterson said. Now, I get what he's saying. Instead of Linus Ullmark, he goes on to say, who's 7-0 in his first 7 starts. I get it. So I had to quote to him. I said, Sens caught a break facing Kevin Lankinen, who stopped 77% of the shots on goal. Another season series done. Senators will be finished until the Stanley Cup Finals to play the Vancouver Canucks. They finished that one 1-1-0. Final thoughts on this game before we move on to the game against Edmonton tomorrow.
The Ottawa Senators find a way to get it done. I think, Ross, you were, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, you kind of thought it would be better to start Linus Ullmark in tonight's game, right?
I always think it's better to start Linus Ullmark, but I understand what they were doing.
And that's a fine opinion, Ross. That is a smart man's take, let me tell you that. But even without Linus Ullmark, it's not like this team just slumped down and Levy didn't have the greatest game ever. And they're able to find a win. The power play goes 0 for 5, yet this team finds a way to win. Michael Amadio is out of the game, so they're out down a skater for quite a bit of time as well. They still find a way to win. So that's what I love to see from the Sens, a 5-4 overtime win over the Vancouver Canucks.
So do I. And as we look at the hockey stat card, Shane Pinto, Thomas Chabot, 1-2 at the top. Not sure if you remember, I had both of them as my Sens Central standouts in this game. Nick Jensen, nothing on the negative side, although he took one of the biggest hits I've ever seen. It was almost reminiscent of the hit that Tanner Jeannot put on Artem Zub that concussed him in the third game of the year against LA, but Jensen got run over there. This Vancouver Canucks team, they're physical, man. They play Rick Tocchet style hockey.
Ross, Sherwood has the most hits in the NHL, and it's 63 more than the next guy. It's insane.
You want to talk about Kiefer Sherwood?
Let's do it.
Well, thankfully, the refs got together and they called his bluff. That was a Kirby Dach level head snap, and Brady Tkachuk's stick never touched him at the end of the second period. The arm went up for the ref.
Because the ref was right there, too.
Yeah, that's why it was so silly. It's just like, how are you not seeing it proper? But whatever.
Also, Ross, shout out 666 people in the chat right now, and for the Ottawa Senators,
nobody leave.
Straight win. Well, now it's 669, but that's nice. We'll take that.
That is nice.
So yeah, you want to get to tomorrow's game up against the Edmonton Oilers? How are we feeling? Linus Ullmark start. Let's go.
Yes, and the Oilers did pull out a win. I would have been more nervous had they not today. They were down against the San Jose Sharks in the third period, despite dominating them. Yaroslav Askarov was solid in this one for them, making a handful of key saves, but the Oilers were able to beat them with 18 seconds left and then win 18 seconds into overtime. So the Sens win 15 seconds into overtime. Edmonton 18 seconds into overtime in their game. They get a couple extra hours rest and they're staying at home. This was an afternoon game today. Look, Edmonton beat the wheels off of Ottawa in Ottawa earlier this season. Like Bouchard had that highlight reel goal in the first period, and that was during the Sens 0-4-1 stretch. But so was the Canucks game. So I'm expecting a much better performance. And look, this is what I'm assuming is the thought process behind starting Levy. Second half back-to-back with travel, you want your goalie to give you the best chance to win against the Edmonton Oilers because there's no such thing as a scheduled loss anymore, right?
Well, no, there isn't, Ross. And I was just going to say that. You would think that this team would not be able to kind of battle the demons that are the Edmonton Oilers, but they found a way to get it done up against the Carolina Hurricanes. So I got no reason to believe that the Ottawa Senators won't get it done tomorrow. And imagine if this team goes off to the Christmas break on a 7-game heater. And this is a team that we thought had road woes from last year. We thought, okay, how are they going to handle back-to-back games, especially with Anton Forsberg, not playing good and then injured, but they just find ways to win. Just win, baby. Like Brady Tkachuk in Calgary is the perfect example of that. 9 stitches, loses a tooth. I don't care. I'm not leaving this game when this team's this hot. Comes back on the ice and scores the game winner. So honestly, this is a weird place for us to be, Ross, because we've never been in this position. And it just feels great. And to have 700 people now in the chat at 1:43 in the morning, This is an era of Ottawa Senators hockey that the Locked On Senators podcast has never seen.
And yes, Senator, it is 10-2-1 since my daughter was born, and they were 0-4-1 in the 5 games before she was born. So she's just a Sens merchant right now. She had her Sens onesie on tonight. She was just buzzing, enjoying it, crying a little. But
one of how many Sens onesies, Ross? How many Sens onesies does Lily Levitan own?
Every single one in the buck, man. If people are sending gifts, they know what to do. We actually got a t-shirt today that says, or a onesie that says, my favorite season is hockey. So I like that one too. That's a good one too.
Heck yeah. So her favorite season, Ross, is October to June.
Ooh, well, don't forget, we like the she likes the transactional period too. She's a big July 1st free agency frenzy girl too. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll
take
that.
And then August, she celebrates my birthday. So
year round.
Oh my god, yeah, big dev camp girl loves the
give her some time off in September, Ross. I mean, she hasn't even seen her first September yet.
But we got to do our organizational value rankings in September.
That's true. Well, Ross, I'm glad you said that. Organizational value rankings. Who's 1, 2, who's 3? Lily Levitan, number one most valuable person to the Ottawa Senators organization.
Hey, you know who's been valuable this year? We haven't mentioned it. They didn't mention it on the broadcast at all, but how good did that have to feel for Travis Green going back to Vancouver and getting a win as a head coach?
Big time. Yeah, exactly, Ross. And especially, I thought he coached a good game. Like we talked about, calling the timeout, making sure to double check on it, and then being like, look, I know I called the timeout, might have wasted it, but we're not doing it anyways, which is surprising, Ross, because how many times earlier in the season did we see this Ottawa Senators team walk away from a loss with a timeout in their back pocket? And they're like, Travis Green, what are you doing? Use your timeout. So it's funny how that happens. But yeah, shout out Travis Green and the entire Ottawa Senators coaching staff. They must be doing something right because we're on a 6-game heater.
The best. The 6-game heater's one thing, but the fact that they're finding ways to win games they wouldn't have won in the past is what makes me the happiest. Yes, Nicholas, we're starting the college fund for Lily. Appreciate that. And she says thanks. I'm just looking right now, and as we always do, we get great photos from USA Today, and we've got a couple really good ones here. So I'm going to pull them up because the people deserve to see some absolutely stunning Ottawa Senators photos after this. If you're listening in your car, if you're listening somewhere, you can always check this out on YouTube after each and every Ottawa Senators game. But Pillsy, like, if this doesn't tell you the heart, hustle, and determination, I'm just pulling it up so I can get the 2 in 1 here. Boom, bang, bingo, bango, bongo. Here we go. I got so many tabs open you wouldn't believe. Here we go. The boys celebrating that victory.
Man.
Isn't that awesome with Levi Marilainen in there? And Brady Tkachuk always goes to the goalie. That's what I love about Brady too, man. He's a goalie-friendly Brady Tkachuk. And then, so that's the first one here. And the second one, a little bit of a close-up here. Levy celebrating with Brady Tkachuk and Nick Cousins. Cousins taking that stick in the face might have been the other TSN turning point in that one because Vancouver put on all sorts of pressure in the third period, even when they tied it up. And then all of a sudden, boom, 4-minute power play. I know they had the shorty chance.
Yeah.
Chance in quotations. It was from pretty far out, but still a wide open opportunity to shoot. I thought, and look, that third line, again, we hope Amadio's okay, but Pinto, Cousins, Amadio is really rounding into a fantastic energy line for Ottawa. And then you throw in, I know they changed the lines a little bit tonight, so you didn't have Greg back on that fourth. Alberta Beef line was split up, and they had Adam Gaudette down there, and I think that's fair. Gaudette has been a little more invisible of late. Still on the power play, but hasn't been playing as much 5-on-5. I think he only played 5 minutes in tonight's game. But Nick Cousins, he was brutal at the start of the year, and he's looked really good. And nobody was more excited to bleed in the history of getting high stick than Nick Cousins to show.
That's what I was going to get to, Ross. Like, just so funny. Immediately touches his mouth. And sometimes nonverbal communication is the most effective, Ross. Doesn't say a word to the ref. Just skates by going like this.
I thought he was going to smear it on his face.
See that? See it? That's 4. Double minor.
And how about them having to review it? Like, is the blood not real? Do you think he pulled out like one of those old Scream masks where you have the little pump?
Well, I think, Ross, they were checking to see if the puck is what hit him because both of them were going for the puck and went up. But I don't want to be too rude, Ross, because we're on a 6-game heater and the Vancouver Canucks fans are struggling right now. But busting out a ref you suck chant on a bloody high stick is a weird move.
Low IQ. They're going through a lot right now, though.
Hey, yeah. Oh boy.
And did you see Elias Pettersson after the game? He was asked about this feud with JT Miller, and he says, I don't know why the media keeps making things up. It's like, buddy, your captain and head coach just addressed it this morning. They confirmed y'all don't like each other.
Okay, follow-up question. Elias, can you explain no points when JT Miller has come back and being above a point per game when he was gone?
Can't do it.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Primetime Sens just asked on Twitter, how are you tweeting mid-postcast? The answer is I have ADHD. I'm 10 places at once all the time.
That's fair, Ross. Yeah. Oh, my God. This is crazy right now. And I honestly, let's get a quick sleep in and let's get to tomorrow's puck drop immediately.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Any final thoughts on this postcast? We appreciate everybody. It's almost 2 a.m. We got so much passion for this team in this market. We just deserve a winner here, and it's great that the boys can come in clutch.
Final thoughts for me, Ross, is this is the exact proof of the passion that Ottawa Senators fans can have when the product on the ice reflects what Sens fans deserve. Like you mentioned it, so many people in the chat this late at night, everybody's buzzing. We love doing this for all you guys. We did it through the lowest of lows, and now we all get to enjoy this through 6 straight wins, including a bunch on the road, slaying the demons in Carolina.
3 in overtime and 2 shutouts.
Overtime wins, shutouts, shorthanded goals. Like it's an amazing time to be an Ottawa Senators fan, and you guys all deserve it. Ross and I deserve this. Christmas is coming around the corner. It's a Christmas miracle. I can't even think of words to describe how happy I am, Ross. 6 straight wins. Give yourselves a pat on the back, Sens fans, because you could have been down and out. You could have smashed the panic button earlier, but we didn't do that. We stuck it out, and now we get to enjoy this. So shout out to the best in class fan base, your Ottawa Senators fans. Let's go.
And I'll leave you with some great news too. The Ottawa Senators game tomorrow night will be on TSN, and I can confirm that Kenzie Lalonde will be on the call.
Oh, that's music to my ears, Ross. Kenzie is an absolute beauty, and anytime she is on the call, good things tend to happen. So that's great.
The Ottawa Senators, hey, fine. Those are our final thoughts. Now let's have our final vibe check. The Ottawa Senators wild card spot is now not in flux by 1 point. The Senators have a 3-point gap with games in hand on all the teams chasing them, except for the New York fraudy Rangers, okay? That's the only team with less games played than the Ottawa Senators, and the Sens are absolutely buzzing right now. 6 straight wins. This might be the last time we pull up the wild card. Tomorrow, we might just get crazy and pull up the division stats.
But it's
take a
not
screenshot
that far
of that.
Reach now, Ross. Like you were talking about it last week on the Sen Central podcast, Locked On Senators podcast.
Yeah, sounds like a good show.
And recommend, like, and subscribe. And you were saying, hey, I'm looking at the division. I was like, Ross, calm down, man. Now it's really not that crazy. So maybe tomorrow we scroll up on the old standings chart.
Vern, really appreciate the super as always here. Nick, go Sens, go. Nick is setting the tone here. Let's get some GSGs in the chat here. We've been playing Danger Flutes more than any. That's a lie. I play Danger Flutes a lot when I'm not vibing too. Well, it always becomes a vibe, but not on a vibe cast. This is the 7th straight game with the flutes. Remember, we were going to bring back the loser music. I don't even know what loser music sounds like right now.
Me neither. And Ross, we are boosting our Postcast record charts, brought to you by our friend Mark Hamad. And
stay tuned for next week with Mark Hamad. We're doing something really fun and different.
That's the tease I was just getting to, Ross. Mark's hooking us up.
Buddy.
All good. We can snap it around. No problem. D to D pass on the power play here.
No, that was a Matteo to Pinto wide open net tonight.
All right, then I'll just tap it in here instead of stick handling through the entire ozone. We got something fun that we've never done before. Myself, Ross Levitan, and Laleem's Martian are going to be doing this, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a nice Christmas treat.
It's going to come out on Christmas Day, so stay tuned for that. But we got so much more before that. We got the Sens and Oilers tomorrow. We'll wrap up the weekend on Monday's show. And then on Tuesday, a Sen Central citizen who I've been friends with since I was 2 years old. So lots of great content coming here on LOSP. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, watching the show. Yesterday was our biggest single day since Brady Tkachuk's interview in mid-July. So let's keep it rolling and keep it rolling. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Pillsy, can you confirm there will be a Linus Ullmark jersey back there tomorrow?
Yes, confirmed. Confirmed Linus will be back in his jersey case. Nothing wrong with getting the captain Brady Tkachuk in there, though.
Nothing wrong at all. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Let's get some GSGs in the chat. You've been listening to the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. Make sure to head to the Glebe Central Pub where the vibes are free at the GCP, 779 Bank Street, and the $20 Send shuttle is unreal for the Team Canada games at the World Juniors. The World Juniors aren't always in Ottawa from 2009 to 2024. That's a long gap. Make sure that you take it in, Sens fans, and go to the GCP and enjoy the ride, especially if you're going to games at TD Place. It's just walking distance to and from TD Place. So that's it for us tonight. We'll talk to you after the Sens take on the Oilers. 6 straight wins. 6 straight wins for the Ottawa Senators. Count them. We'll talk to you tomorrow. That's Brandon Piller. I'm Ross Levitan, and we ride out as a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.